Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here. In today's video, we're going through another huge Nintendo Switch eShop sale and 10 more great games worth picking up, so let's get into it. Alright, so the first game on today's list is Dungeon Limbus. Now this is a roguelike dungeon crawler with simplistic pixel style graphics, but you'll play as a hero that has memory loss and you'll continue to dive into the dungeons, trying to recover your memory, and along the way you'll take on many monsters throughout the dungeon. You'll collect weapons and armor and coins to power up your character, and as you progress you'll try and unravel the mystery of your lost memory, and each run through you'll be able to explore a little bit further, and the dungeon mechanics almost have a press your luck type feel, and each time you move in the dungeon, the monsters nearby will make a move as well, so you'll need to really strategically move throughout the dungeon if you hope to survive. And as you progress, you'll be able to expand the town that you return to every single time you die, unlocking new weapons, new shops, and villagers that can help you along the way. You can recruit other heroes to your team as well, strengthening your party, and you'll face off against intense bosses in the dungeon as well. So if you're looking for a new roguelike dungeon crawler to test out, this could be a great one worth picking up. Alright, the next game on today's list is Writhe. And so this is a unique first-person shooter arcade style game that takes place in 70s Thailand, and giant worms are terrorizing the city, and your job is to take these massive worms out and save the city. And so it is sort of like an arcadey style first-person shooter game, and the graphics really take me back to the Nintendo 64 era, and so you'll dual wield weapons and fight off endless waves of worms as they progressively spawn on the levels and continue to increase in strength. And what's really addicting is that as you continue to kill worms, you'll steadily get better and your guns will improve, allowing you to get more powerful attacks and shoot your weapons faster the better you get on each level. There's leaderboards in the game, so you can compete against people all across the world. And if you're looking for a simple yet addicting arcade-style first-person shooter with some retro-inspired graphics, I definitely recommend it. Alright, the next game on the list is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And so if you're into RPGs, you've probably heard of The Witcher 3 by now, but the Nintendo Switch version is on sale. And in this game, you follow a Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, who's sort of like a mercenary slash monster hunter for hire. And you'll explore a massive open world as he tries to reconnect and find his adoptive daughter. Now, I won't go too much more into the story as that's one of the best parts of the game. There's a huge world to explore, a ton of world building and character development, and it's super easy to get immersed in this game for hundreds of hours. It's an action RPG, so definitely expect some fast-paced combat, taking out huge monsters around the world. This is definitely one of the best action RPGs in recent years, and if you haven't yet picked it up, I definitely recommend it. Alright, the next game on today's list is World War Z. Now this is one of my favorite zombie games of all time, and it's set in the same universe as the 2013 World War Z movie with Brad Pitt. And you follow different groups around the world during this zombie apocalypse. And so it's a third-person shooter, and just like the movie, the zombies are incredibly fast, and you'll play throughout some iconic locations like New York City, Tokyo, Moscow, and more. But on top of that, you have a ton of different weapons to choose from, and it has some RPG elements to the game as well. So characters will have different class types they can play as, and as you gain more experience and level these class types up, you'll unlock new abilities, you'll be able to get more powerful versions of guns, and there's a bunch of difficulty settings you can play on the game, which further enhances the replay value as well. The gameplay is incredibly addicting, it's really fast-paced, and if you're looking for a great zombie game, this is one of the best, and I definitely recommend it. Alright, the next game on the list is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now there's been a lot of Dragon Ball Z games throughout the years, and this is one of the latest entries. And this time it combines elements of both 3D action fighting games and also action RPGs. And so you'll play throughout the game during the different sagas in the Dragon Ball Z anime. So the Saiyan Saga, the Namek Saga, Android Saga, and Buu Saga. There's also expansions exploring other parts of the series beyond that as well. Plus never before seen sideline stories set during the events of those times. And so as I mentioned, you'll explore this massive world set in the Dragon Ball Z universe, fighting iconic battles, but also completing a ton of different side quests as well. And so you'll be able to level up your characters, improving their abilities, and there's also community boards, so as you discover and find key characters throughout the series, you'll be able to level up these boards and acquire additional bonuses as well. Now it does cover some of the iconic storyline that has been rehashed many times before, but there are some unique spins on it and additional side quests throughout, and it's almost like you're getting to play the anime. So I think if you like open world action RPGs, and are a fan of Dragon Ball Z, this is definitely worth picking up. The next game on today's list is Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. And so this is a remaster of sorts of a classic RPG. And so it's similar to classic action RPGs such as Skyrim or again The Witcher. So I won't get too into the story, as that's one of the great things to unlock and unravel as you play. But you start with a base character that you can really build out and level up to your liking. And so you can customize your abilities as you level up and sort of turn your character in whatever class type you want. So maybe you want to build out a strong warrior type character, more of a stealth focused character, or more of a magic character, or some type of combination of all of those. You really have the flexibility to do that in this game. There's a ton of side quests to explore, a huge main storyline. There's different factions you can join throughout the game, which unlock a new experience. I think if you're looking for another action RPG with a massive world and great storyline that can suck you in for hours, this is worth checking out. The next game is Automata. And so this game takes place in a dystopian future where humanity has fled the world after aliens have come and built machine armies to take over the planet. And so humanity has decided to fight back and built androids to send to Earth to take on these machines and the alien threat in hopes of saving humanity. And so you'll play as one of these androids on a quest to save the world. And so the gameplay has amazing visuals, an intriguing story, and really addictive combat and gameplay. On top of that, it's mostly an action RPG, but there's even additional modes within the game where you're playing sort of space shooter type battles, and those get incredibly intense and really are a lot of fun and add a little twist on the gameplay as well. You'll really be able to power up your androids with different weapon types you can use, a little side turret type robot character that helps you along the way, and much more. So if you'd like to experience a dystopian style futuristic action RPG, I definitely recommend checking out this game. The next game on today's list is Mayhem Brawler. So this is a retro-inspired beat-em-up with some hand-drawn art-style graphics where you play as super enhanced police officers with their own unique abilities, and you'll fight off against humans but also various monsters like werewolves and vampires. So it does feature that arcade-style classic beat-em-up gameplay, but it does have some unique spins on it as well. One of them is that the game has multiple endings, so sometimes you're faced with the choice of different directions to go with, and that can affect the storyline but also the next levels that you play. So there's different paths you can go through the game, which can definitely enhance the replay value. And another unique feature is that characters have different status effects that can be applied to them. So sometimes they're positive, but sometimes they're negative, and same thing with enemies that you're fighting. Sometimes they'll have bonuses that regenerate their health, and much more, which can make the game a little bit more challenging and a unique experience as you play. Each one of the base characters has different strengths and weaknesses. So one of them's a little bit stronger but slower, another one's kind of a middle ground character, and another one's a little bit weaker but a lot faster. So you can choose a character that fits your playstyle, or play through the game with them all and experience all the different endings within the game. If you're looking for a new classic inspired beat 'em up, this one's definitely worth checking out. The next game on today's list is Diablo 2 Resurrected. And so this is a remaster of a classic game, Diablo 2, definitely one of my favorites growing up, and it's a bird's eye view dungeon crawler, and you'll fight your way through hordes of enemies and demons in these dungeons in this classic action RPG. Now they've really revamped the game from its original graphics and added in some quality of life features like auto picking up gold and much more. It features online play as well, so you can team up with other people around the world to go through these dungeons, or you can play in offline mode as well. There's a bunch of different base characters that you can play as, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses and abilities. Now it might seem a little bit dated to some if you're used to playing modern RPGs, but if you grew up with this classic or want to experience a remastered, improved version of this classic game, I definitely recommend it. Alright, the final game on today's list is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And this game takes place in the Star Wars universe, but 4,000 years before the prequel movies. So you'll encounter ancient Jedi, the Sith, and get thrown into a world where they're yet again at war, and you play as a character that's faced with some tough choices as you go through the game, which can lead you towards the light side or the dark side. And so throughout the game, you'll be able to unlock Jedi powers, build your own lightsaber, and visit some classic locations throughout the Star Wars universe. And the gameplay sort of feels like action RPG meets turn-based RPG. And so you won't really notice it at first. While the combat looks like it's an action RPG, it actually plays out a lot more like a tabletop RPG, but it still feels like action at the same time. And so it's a really cool experience getting to revisit the Star Wars universe in ancient times and building out your character how you see fit. It's definitely one of my favorite classic RPGs, so if you're a Star Wars fan and you like RPGs, I definitely recommend checking out Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic if you haven't yet. But that again wraps up our list of 10 new great games worth buying in this week's Nintendo Switch eShop sale. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And let me know in the comments below, are there other great games you're picking up this sale? Are there games I missed? Are you picking up any of the games I talked about in today's video now that you heard they're on sale? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out, and to make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming sale videos so you can take advantage of deals while they're here. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.